to Guru Beauty. I am Jody, and I wanted to take the opportunity today to do a little bit of a throwback. I have loved hearing from many of you who have been watching this channel for years, commenting for years. It's been so lovely to be back and hearing all kinds of lovely, warm, welcome messages from you, or reading those messages, I should say. And many of you who do follow me on Instagram also have been enjoying the throwbacks I've been posting there. So I wanted to take the opportunity today, during this pandemic around the world. It's been a really nice opportunity, obviously, besides the seriousness of the health concerns for those people who are at risk and the lives that have been lost. For those of us who are healthy and staying at home and trying to do our bit, it has been an opportunity to sort of slow down, spend time with family, rediscover old loves. And for me, part of that is coming back to YouTube and saying hello. For me, part of that has been discovering a lot of products in the back of my drawers. In that vein, I thought I would make a few videos here of beauty throwbacks, and this is especially one for those of you who have been on YouTube, not just my channel, but on YouTube for many, many years. If you're a little bit squeamish about expiration dates, I just want to acknowledge, yes, I know makeup has an expiration date. I treat makeup kind of like I treat milk. I will note the expiration date, but if it looks okay, if it smells okay, if the consistency looks okay, I will still drink it, I will still use it. For those of you who are a little bit sentimental, who might appreciate remembering the days of old, this one is for you, and hopefully I can inspire some of you to shop your stash, really go into the back of your drawers and not only clean out the old products that are expired, that are no good anymore, but for those that you do deem are still safe to use, give it a try and hopefully inspire you to use some old products that might still be absolutely beautiful but just forgotten and replaced by something newer since. So here goes. Without any further ado, and in no particular order, I am going to start with, yes, a drugstore product. This is probably going back, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, I don't know, but this is an Eye Enhancer eyeshadow palette from Covergirl. And those of you might remember how many people were going crazy for and in search of the Shimmering Sands trio. Ooh, there goes the applicator. Just a trio of quite light, shimmery shades. People just went berserk. I think this was back in the day before we'd been, whoa, there we go. That's the lid on the drugstore product just breaking like that, just being held up. So for those of you who do post to my channel, who you know, comment on when I do a bit of a declutter, why do I get rid of more drugstore than I do my more expensive items? Yes, drugstore products are fabulous, but I would say that unfortunately the packaging of drugstore products, they really age a lot faster than the higher end brands. The lids, the packaging, also the labeling and the names rub off really quickly, and it just makes the product just less of a pleasure to use. So sometimes it is because of the packaging, as you've just seen with this one, but I will be keeping the Shimmering Sands. Let me know if you remember, if you still have your Covergirl Shimmering Sands trio. It was definitely coveted back in the day before we were just flooded with so many choices of eyeshadow palettes and every shimmery color under the sun from all kinds of price points. And another one in that vein, this one was from American brand Wet n Wild. Now, we've never had easy access to Wet n Wild here in Australia, but you know, back again in Australia before we had access to a lot of the brands that we do have access today. Gosh, I spent a lot of time on eBay, on Ulta, on Sephora, on Walgreens. I'd have products shipped to my sister's house in the States, and she'd be sending over boxes of cosmetics and brands that we just couldn't easily get our hands on here in Australia. Gone are those days, thankfully. I'm just not quite as crazy for those harder to find, harder to access brands, but I'm definitely holding on to this one. I'm going to use this in the coming week, definitely. From Wet n Wild, this was their Color Icon eyeshadow trio in Walking on Eggshells. It had a really lovely frosty sort of light white shade, a frosty sort of light pink shade, and a beautiful kind of light bronzy shade there. A beautiful little trio, very affordable, but gosh, that took a lot of effort to try and get that here in Australia. Next comes some blushes. And a lot of these products are products that you may still be able to get your hands on. Some of them have been discontinued, yes, but some you can still buy brand new. Like this one, this is from Stila. This was the convertible cheek color, was probably one of the first cream blushes that I ever bought. Just a beautiful shade of pink. It's absolutely gorgeous. I rediscovered this and I've used it a couple of times this week. It's beautiful. I would recommend the Convertible Cheek Color from Stila if you do like cream blush. And yes, the older I get, the more into cream blushes I am getting. I have quite a few products here, so I'm going to make a series. Another blush that you may or may not remember. Did you remember that Hourglass used to make what they called was an Aura Sheer Cheek Stain? This was a liquid blush, and the cheek stain shade that I purchased and loved was Petal. It came in a little clickety-click twist up applicator with kind of like a almost domed fabric top. And Petal was just a lovely sort of pinky peach. It was like more of a stain than a cream, a more opaque kind of cream. A lovely product there. I did find that I had to sort of build it up and reapply to, build it up and get the colour on my face. But a beautiful product there from Hourglass. Not available anymore to my knowledge. Bit of a throwback that some of you might remember. This is a blast from the past. This might be one of the oldest makeup products that I have in my collection that I remember buying, and this was from Tarte. Remember these from Tarte? I don't think they make them anymore. I wore this on my wedding day. These are the push-up blushes, and they're kind of like in a solid gel, almost like a deodorant type consistency, and this was the shade Flush. They were blendable, a stain kind of just delivered in a solid. I just found this was a beautiful shade, a beautiful consistency. It would look lovely on natural skin, lovely on tanned skin. Absolutely love that stain. And then of course, oldie but a goodie, a product that began it all for Benefit, the BENETINT. And I'm pretty sure you can still get BENETINT wherever you can find Benefit. Of course, a liquid blush. I think this was sort of the first very liquid stain. It was designed for lips and cheeks. I'm just not one into lip stain, so this was always one for the cheeks. Just like the Hourglass one, it's one that I just kind of had to apply in layers to build it up, but long lasting and a beautiful product. Of course, I have a little travel size here, but one worth remembering down memory lane and one that you can still access. So if you have that, pull it out, give it a try. Gosh, primers. Here's one that you probably don't hear about on YouTube anymore, but it did have a moment back when, and I'm not sure if you can still find it. I'm guessing that you can. The Clarins Beauty Flash Balm. This was probably one of the first products back in the day. I think of Smashbox as sort of the very first real actual primer brand that I recall. But the Beauty Flash Balm is one that you apply without rubbing in. You kind of just press it in. It just gives you a lovely finish, a lovely smooth surface to put your makeup on, and a beautiful one. I still use this from time to time. They claim that it brightens and tightens. I do definitely see that my skin and my makeup looks nicer when I've applied the Clarins Beauty Flash Balm. If you have it, give it a try. Okay, some makeup brushes. When I started YouTubing, and that is as a viewer and not necessarily making videos, I quickly learnt that at the time it was all about MAC brushes. MAC brushes were the thing to own. There are so many beautiful brands of makeup brushes that I have added to the collection over the years. Brands like Tom Ford, Wayne Goss, Haku Hodo, Ray Morris. Gosh, I remember when I first got her new brush collection with all the magnets. Just some beautiful brands, but these to me are sort of the OG. Back in the day, they were considered spendy brushes for me, and I slowly built up my collection over time. Of course, the iconic M.A.C 217, the blending brush that everyone had to have, the flat brush for laying down shadow on your lid or your lower lash line, the 239, absolutely beautiful. The pencil brush for the lower lash line, the outer V, blending in eyeliner, very versatile brush. The blending brush, the M.A.C 224, an absolutely beautiful brush for blending in a transition shade. The outer corner, the 224 was beautiful, and then of course for eyeliner and brows, the M.A.C 208, very, very fine angled makeup brush. And then remember, before the Beauty Blender, before all of the other foundation brushes that have come, this is what everyone used to apply their foundation. This is what everyone used to even apply like their loose powders, like their, M.A.C mineralized skin finishes. The M.A.C 187 brush, the stipple brush here, this was sort of the brush to have. Yeah, it was used for stippling on foundation, even cream foundations, and then of course, blurring and buffing in powders, or, M.A.C Fix Plus even, a beautiful brush. and has stood the test of time. So yeah, love my MAC brushes. Love my MAC brushes. Now I'm going to swoop all the way down to the other end of price points when it comes to brushes. And this one for me is an OG as well. For applying foundation, the e.l.f. powder blush. I loved this for applying foundation, either in a stippling type motion like the 187 or really blending. Was great for high coverage foundations, building up coverage of foundations. Of course, the density of the brush just meant that you could just get a really nice blend even with your higher coverage foundations. I bought many of these brushes and recommended to many people. I don't know, I'm guessing you can probably get all of those MAC brushes and the e.l.f. powder blush too, I'm not sure. Let's just talk highlighters for a second. Okay, if I had to guess, I would say, gosh, going back to maybe 2010, 2011, the highlighter of the time, and this was before highlighters were just, you know, out there and crazy and absolutely everywhere. Who remembers trying to get their hands on the Dior Amber Diamond? Who remembers that? This was one that just, you know, at the time we were all trying to find dupes for. Remember back in the day it was all about dupes? A beautiful highlighter. You've got a gradient of shades from kind of apricot-y to a bronzy highlighter to a more light goldy type highlighter. This is when you just kind of blend it in, and beautiful finish on the face. The Dior Amber Diamond. I tried many highlighters to try and find a dupe for that Dior because obviously it became very difficult to find. Was from Physicians Formula, and another OG as well. The shimmer strips came in a few different types of shade choices, and this one I think was the closest that I could find to the Amber Diamond. This is the Riveria strip / sand bronzer, a beautiful product that I would use on the eye. Remember when it was all the rage, all that highlighter on the inner corner? Now the last thing I wanted to show you in this video was the more sort of creamy, liquidy type highlighters. Again, before every brand had one. OG to me is M.A.C, and their cream color bases were the thing. I have a couple of shades still. I think I've got Hush, which is more of like a pinky kind of cream color base, and Pearl, which is more of a white one. Just a beautiful product to keep your skin looking dewy, fresh. The cream formulation was just lovely. It still is. And again, Benefit was one of the first that I can recall that came out with more of like a liquidy highlighter. And of course, this is the Benefit High Beam, a little travel size there, but a beautiful product that had relatively good staying power. One that you could mix in with your foundation, pop under your foundation or over the top, the Benefit High Beam. Gosh, how many of those do you remember? How many of those did you love? How many of those do you still have? Let me know your thoughts and what you remember down below in the comments. I would love to hear from you. I'm going to show you some more OG beauty products from back in my early days of YouTubing. I hope that you enjoy this journey and this trip down memory lane. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself an absolutely gorgeous day, and please don't forget, you are absolutely beautiful just as you are inside and out, whether you use any of this stuff or not. But anyway, so much more important than looking beautiful is being it. I will see you again really, really soon. Mwah! Bye.
You're seeing me in